Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank my friend, Mr. Engel, the chairman, for his leadership on this issue, and for my friend, Mr. Bilrakis, Mr. McCall, Mr. Wilson, and obviously Mr. McGovern, who's been working on this with me as well, along with Congresswoman Bass. Congress cannot sit idly by while one nation kills its own people, blocks communication to the outside world, and commits serious human rights violations. The people of Sudan, like all people, deserve the ability to determine their own future. They deserve a civilian-led democratic society. They deserve to not have to live in fear, in constant fear of violence. And it's for these reasons that we offer this resolution to affirm the position of the United States Congress, despite views that we may differ on other matters, that we come together, Democrats and Republicans across the political spectrum, to denounce the trampling of human rights that's taken place in Sudan and to call on the Transitional Military Council to immediately stop any violence against those civilian protesters and to begin the transition, the immediate transition to civilian-led government. The Sudanese people have a right to be free. They have a right to a democratic society. They have a right to not have to deal with the kind of oppression that they've experienced. This resolution also lays out some very clear areas where Sudan simply has to improve if it wants to have a productive relationship with the U.S. And I believe that the U.S. should be engaged with Sudan, but we have to insist that the Sudan that we engage with, that the Sudan that we work with, is a nation that is led by its own people and not subjected to the horrific examples of persecution that we have seen. You know, for 3 decades, the people of Sudan have suffered under terrible repression. Now that we have this moment where the page is turned, the worst thing would be to succeed one terrible period of oppression with another. And that's why it's somewhat hopeful to see that there are some signs that some view as reason for optimism. We have to make sure that this transition to a civilian-led government is something that actually takes place, that we don't allow Sudan to simply go back to the kind of military-led repression that we saw under Bashir. That's completely unacceptable. So while the situation is fluid, we have an opportunity to state with a very clear voice from the Congress of the United States, from the American people, to the people of Sudan and to the people of the world, that the world is watching. We are paying attention to what takes place. We have a stake in the freedom of the people of Sudan, and that is why we are speaking up with one voice today. So I'm honored to join with my colleagues, as I said, across the aisle and across the political spectrum to speak with one voice on this subject. Congress has a chance to make a difference on this. The people of the United States stand with the people of Sudan. We deserve better, they deserve better, and I call on all my colleagues to join us in this resolution and call for freedom and justice for the people of Sudan. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back my time.